Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Our Rabb, revive our hearts with Iman, our tongues with dhikr, and our lives with your nur. Do not make us among those who are asleep in heedlessness while the doors of mercy are being knocked on. Make us among those who hear the call. Salat and salam be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad Mustafa, who looks at his ummah with hope. My brother, maybe tonight you feel scattered, incomplete, unfinished. Inside you, there are fears you've never been able to say out loud, regrets you carry, moments when you ask, where did I go wrong? It's exactly for times like this that the Qur'an whispers to us, do not lose hope in Allah's mercy. Allah forgives all sins. Today, we are preparing for the night when that ayah lands right in the heart. Today, we're standing at the threshold of Regaib Night. Regaib means something deeply desired, greatly sought, something truly valued. So, tonight is the night when Allah's mercy turns toward his servant, and the servant's turning back to his Rabb becomes precious. Some scholars describe this night as the first night you plant a seed in your heart for the rest of the year. In a wise saying attributed to Imam Ghazali, it is said, the moment your heart breaks is the moment your dua rises the fastest. Maybe right now you're standing exactly where you say, I'm broken. That's why the title of this video is, The Time to Begin Again from Where You Thought You Were Broken. Because Regaib Night is exactly that. The night when Allah turns the point you thought was your ending into a beginning. In this video, we'll talk about these things together. We'll reflect on the true meaning at the heart of this blessed night, not only as history or information, but in the way it touches your life. We'll go step by step through how to spend Regaib Night, with what intentions, with what du'as, and with what small but powerful actions you can bring this night to life. And maybe most importantly, we'll reflect on how, in the lowest points of your life, what you thought was rock bottom, Allah has actually been quietly pulling you upward through the words of the scholars and the Qur'an's doors that open into hope. This video is for you. Stay with us until the end. Maybe the answer you've been waiting for years, is waiting for you between the lines of this night. If you're ready, start listening with your heart. My brother, maybe right now you're saying to yourself, am I even worthy of nights like this? With this many sins, this many mistakes, would Allah still look at me? Right here, the Qur'an speaks directly to you. Our Rabb says, in that well-known ayah, in Surah Az-Zumar, in meaning, say, O my servants, who have wronged themselves, do not despair of Allah's mercy. For Allah forgives all sins. Indeed, He is the most forgiving, the most merciful. Imagine this. In the ayah, Allah does not say, O my sinless servants. He does not say, O you who live perfectly. He does not say, O you who have never fallen into a mistake. He says, O my servants, who have wronged themselves, meaning he is speaking to the ones who have made mistakes, who slipped, who got lost, who broke others and got broken, who fell apart, who feel scattered inside. And Regaib Night is one of the nights when that call lands straight into the heart. So when you think, I'm done, I'm finished, know this: right where you feel like you ended, there is an unseen rope of mercy being lowered to you from the sky. Imam Ghazali, when he speaks about nights like this, says people can be divided into 3 groups. The first group is unaware of the night. They don't even know its name. They live it like an ordinary day. The second group makes a few du'as with their tongue, but their heart is asleep. And then there is the third group, the ones this night truly speaks to. Imam Ghazali says they are aware of their sins, aware of their weakness, aware of how desperately they need their Rabb. Maybe they don't do a lot of worship, but every dua they make, every sajda, every tear comes from a deep place in the heart. That third group is the one sitting with this video right now, the one who can see their own flaw and say, who can understand my condition except my Rabb? If you feel even a small ache like that in your heart, then know you are among the most invited on this night. Do not think of Regaib Night only as good deeds raining down from the sky. This night is also like a mercy visiting the inner architecture of your heart, walking through the rooms of your soul, one by one. Maybe you have a room in your heart that has been locked for years, a room you never opened to anyone, a room filled with the hurts you carried since childhood, the pain you stayed silent about, the repentance you kept postponing, the changes you kept saying one day to, but never started. Tonight, think of it like this: the key to that locked room has been placed back into your hands. In different ayahs, the Qur'an reminds us, call upon me, and I will respond to you. Our Rabb calls, turn to me, ask me for forgiveness, and I will send my mercy down upon you. And notice something: in these invitations, Allah does not say, come when you're ready. He does not say, come when you're good enough. He does not say, come only if you promise you'll never make a mistake again. He only says, come. Imam Ghazali says, in a servant's heart, 2 great feelings must live together: fear and hope. If you only fear, you begin to imagine the most merciful as if he were harsh. If you only hope, you train your nafs to become lazy. But on Regaib Night, these 2 feelings open like 2 wings. One wing says, I feel ashamed to stand before my Rabb like this. And the other wing says, but I have no door to run to except his. And that is the precious place. Because if your heart is trembling and still turning back to Allah, then you have already stepped into the secret of this night. Maybe up until today, you repented many times, and then you broke it. So many times you said, I'll start tomorrow, and the next day you fell into the same place again. Maybe you delayed your salah. Maybe you couldn't guard your tongue. Maybe you filled your heart with resentment. Now take a breath. Regaib Night is not here so you can fight with your past. It's here so you can make peace with your future. Picture this night like this, as if there is a divine letter prepared just for you, and on the envelope it says, "Oh, my servant, I have been waiting for you for so long. You got lost in your world. I did not abandon you. You chose to forget. I did not forget you. And tonight, you are invited to speak with me again." Imam Ghazali compares the darkening of the heart to a well that has begun to dry up inside. He says, even if you keep pouring water from the outside, if the well has been without water for too long, first you have to repair the cracks deep at the bottom, and Regaib Night is the first drop that begins to mend those unseen cracks in the heart. Do you know what is inside that drop? There is Tawbah, there is Istighfar, there are quiet du'as made in the dark, there are lines you pour out to your Rab, lines no one else knows about. Maybe tonight you won't be able to pray long. Maybe you won't be able to read Qur'an page after page. Maybe your tongue is too tired to keep repeating dhikr. But don't forget this. Sometimes a few sincere sentences poured out in one night can weigh heavier on the scale than thousands of words spoken for years out of habit. In the Qur'an, our Rabb speaks about the heart bowing down, about the soul surrendering from the inside. Because true worship is not only the movement of the body, it's the journey the heart takes through its own states. See Regaib Night like this. Tonight could be the night when the feeling of distance between you and your Rab begins to dissolve. Remember all the moments when you quietly complained inside and thought, my du'as aren't being accepted. Maybe the real issue was never whether the du'a was accepted or not. Maybe it was what the du'a was doing to you. Imam Ghazali speaks about 3 states of du'a. In the first state, the servant makes du'a with only the tongue. In the second state, the heart joins the du'a too. The eyes fill with tears. The inside trembles. And in the third state, the servant makes du'a and almost disappears. He only feels that he is standing in the presence of his Rab. Maybe we won't reach the third state. Maybe we rarely even live the second. But on Regaib Night, Allah is calling you from the first state into the second, meaning at least tonight. He wants your heart to witness every word your tongue is saying. My brother, maybe in the past, Regaib Nights were only a name on the calendar for you. Maybe until tonight, you never felt the part of this night that touches the soul. But if, while listening to these words, even a small movement happened inside your heart, know that it wasn't for nothing. Maybe tonight will be the night when that sentence you've carried for years, "I'll never be able to pull myself together," finally breaks. Maybe you will cleanse the regret of those moments when you said, "Maybe my Rab doesn't hear me," with a single, sincere Istighfar. Maybe you will simply open your hands and say this: My Allah, tonight I heard so many words about your mercy. I know I am not worthy of any of them, but the greatness of your mercy is greater than the greatness of my sins. I am weak. You are the most generous. I am stained. You are the most gentle. I am scattered. You are the one who gathers hearts. Do not leave me to myself. That's all. If you can make even this dua sincerely, then you have not wasted this night. In a moment we will talk about which steps we can take on this blessed night, which duas can soften our hearts, and which small but deep actions can open a new page in our lives. For now, just remember this. Regaib Night may be a divine opportunity given to write a Bismillah at the very place you thought you were broken. You just need to dare to say, even in a faint inner voice, "My Rab, I have come." In the Qur'an, our Rab calls out again and again, "Turn to me, return to me, seek forgiveness from me." Sometimes we hear this invitation as if it were an ordinary sentence, but in reality, it is a divine call coming from the owner of the universe. You can think of Kandil nights as moments when the sound of this call comes closer to the world. Imam Ghazali says, "There are certain times when a small deed done then weighs heavier on the scale than many deeds done at other times, because the issue is not only how much you do, but in what state and in what spiritual climate you do it. And Regaib Night is exactly such a climate. Maybe you won't be able to pray long. Maybe you won't be able to read pages of Qur'an. Maybe you are tired. But a sincere repentance, a heartfelt dua, or even 2 rak'ahs, prayed briefly, but with sincerity, carry a completely different weight on this night. Now come, let's slowly prepare your heart for this night. How can you see this night? How can you live it? Let's talk step by step. You can think of this night as the night of 3 great gifts. The first gift, permission to begin again. Sometimes a person feels so cornered that they think there is no way back from here. Regaib Night is like a divine note written exactly at the place where you thought it was too late. It says, "The moment you turn back, I welcome you." Tonight you can say to your Rab, "My Allah, I promised many times and broke those promises many times, but still I have no door other than yours. I do not trust my words anymore. I trust your mercy." Believe it. This single sentence can be more precious than many long prayers, because there is no arrogance here, no excuses, only a sincere confession and surrender. The second gift, the chance to lighten the burdens of your heart. Maybe no one knows it, but inside you, there are people you still can't forgive. Times you were hurt, wounded, left speechless. So many things you couldn't explain. Imam Ghazali says, "A heart filled with resentment and anger is like a container that looks clean from the top but has mud settled at the bottom. From the outside, it looks pure, but one small shake and all that mud rises to the surface." Regaib Night is not here to shake the container. It's here to clean what's at the bottom. Tonight, maybe you can make this intention. "My Allah, those I hurt, whether knowingly or unknowingly, and those who hurt me, all the burdens I've been carrying inside, I hand every bit of it over to you. Forgive me and forgive them. Free me from the weight I carry in my heart. Do you know something? Sometimes a single act of forgiveness in your heart ends a spiritual exhaustion that could have lasted for years. Maybe this candle will be remembered as the night you finally let go of a bitterness you've carried for so long. The third gift, the chance to touch your destiny through dua. We often imagine destiny as a fixed mold, unchangeable. But in the Qur'an, our Rabb tells us that sincere dua and turning back to Him can open doors and lighten hardships. You can think of your duas tonight like this: a trembling hand you reach toward your Rabb, meeting a hand of mercy being reached down to you from the heavens. My Allah, cover the darkness in my past with your light. Illuminate my steps ahead with your guidance. Do not leave me to my nafs. Protect me from paths you do not want for me. I want to be pleased with you, and you be pleased with me. You don't have to say this word for word, but I want its meaning to move through your heart. My Rabb, I want to be pleased with you, and you be pleased with me. That intention alone can turn this night into a completely new page for you. Imam Ghazali says, "There are moments in a servant's heart when the heart turns to Allah so deeply that it may be more valuable than a lifetime of ordinary ibadat." Maybe you are living that moment right now. Maybe as you listen, somewhere inside your heart, a feeling has awakened. I want to begin again, sincerely. Listen to that feeling. For tonight you can choose small but realistic steps for yourself. For example, tonight I will repent to my Rabb from my heart for every mistake I have ever made, as sincerely as I can. Tonight I will read at least one surah with meaning, with presence, not just with my tongue. Tonight, even for the person who hurt me the most, I will try to make a good dua. Tonight, as it comes from my heart, I will step outside the memorized patterns and speak to my Rabb in my own words. My brother, Allah, doesn't listen to your polished sentences. He listens to your broken heart. Sometimes your tongue gets tangled. You can't choose the right words. But if your heart can still say, Ya Rab, then the conversation has already begun. The Qur'an describes one of the qualities of those who turn to Allah. When they make a mistake, when they wrong themselves, they immediately remember their Rab. They know He is forgiving, and they do not insist on sin. Pay attention. The verse doesn't say those who never make mistakes. It says those who don't set up camp in the mistake, because slipping is human, but stubbornly staying in the sin, that's the nafs playing its game. Regaib Night is not a chance to cover our mistakes. It's a chance to turn away from them. Maybe the only decision you make tonight is this: I want to make more room for my Rabb inside my heart. Don't worry. Allah can turn even small decisions into the beginning of massive transformations. Now picture a dark room in front of your eyes. In the center of that room, imagine a small lamp burning. That lamp may not erase every shadow, but it ends the pitch-black darkness. Now you can see where things are. Now you can see where to step. Now you don't have to walk by crashing into walls. That's what Regaib Night is, the first light inside the dark room of your life. Maybe it won't change everything today, but if you take that small light seriously, over time, the whole room will brighten. Just do this. Don't see tonight as an ordinary Thursday night. See it as a special appointment given to repair the bond between you and your Rab. And whisper to yourself, "My Allah, I came late to this appointment. Sometimes I didn't come at all. Sometimes I came, but my heart wasn't here. But today, despite all my shortcomings, I am here. I came to seek refuge in you. Don't turn me away, empty." My brother, if you've listened this far, your heart has already reached the door of Regaib Night. Maybe your past is heavy. Maybe your mistakes are many. Maybe you're thinking, can I even be accepted like this? Remember, this night is not for the perfect ones. It's for the ones who want to return. Our Rab says, "Say, O my servants who have wronged themselves, do not lose hope in Allah's mercy." Tonight, what is asked from you is not perfection. It is sincerity. Before you close the video, I want one small but very precious thing from you. Let's write in the comments only this: Ya Rab, let me begin again on this candle.